Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with another one. Back with another one. Oh man, I had an interesting day. Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about some political content. I know people are itching to do whatever. I didn't realize I didn't hit it. Oh man, I was running my mouth and I thought I hit the record button, but that happens. Next Wednesday we're gonna go back to our regularly scheduled programming, but you know how it is. But let me see something real quick. I'll move this out the way. This charge. I don't want to. Yeah. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna read about Trump's shit. Okay, Donald Trump, and let's get in here for a minute. We're gonna get in here for a minute. I'm gonna maximize the screen for y'all. Let's read this from the top again, man. I was prepared, man. I didn't hit the record button. Here we go. What does Trump's arrest claim says about his hold on politics in 2024 election? So basically, they're saying, he's talking about this arrest right here in the tweet. We ain't gonna get much into it. Um, he said, when it comes to politics, former Trump world we're all still living in, when one all caps screed on his own low traffic and social media platform. But on Saturday, Trump was able to move the political world, influence the media, cause law enforcement to scramble to show his continued hold on the Republican Party. Citing ambiguous illegal leaks, Trump claimed will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. He then called on his followers for protests to take our nation back. Here we go. That's his rhetoric. And you got guys defending him too. The steel barricades and all that. Congressional Republicans jumped to his defense. I read this to myself earlier, so I ain't gonna just slight y'all. We're gonna get into the Joe Biden thing. We're gonna talk really, and then just you know, I'm gonna move this because I can always go back to that article. I gotta find it. I gotta find it first. Capitalism. Biden issues of veto. We're gonna talk about Biden issues of veto, so we're gonna get into him real quick. We'll read that again because I forgot to hit the record button. But it's just like, the record button is just, I was recording. I said, damn, I didn't even hit the record button. What the hell I'm doing? All right. Let's get into it real quick. I'm going to read this off. Not much. It certainly went according to plan on the last few days with with the House of GOP, but at the retreat in Orlando, Florida. But I didn't see the tweet. The crowd went into the defense mode, but House Speaker Kevin McCarthy did some familiar verbal gymnastics. He first tweeted that the New York DA, Alvin Bragg, was displaying an outraged abuse of power, but he said he was directing relevant committees to immediately investigate if federal funds are being used to subvert our democracy by interfering in elections with political motivated prosecutions. Here we go again. An outraged abuse by a power and radical DA who has let violent criminals walk as he pursues political vengeance against President Trump. I'm directing relevant committees to immediately investigate if the federal funds are being used to subvert our democracy by, this dude is crazy. Later asked by reporters by Trump calling for protests, McCarthy said, I don't think there should be protests. No. Then he contended, I think President Trump, if you talk to him, he doesn't believe that either or said people are misinterpret what Trump said. As a reminder, here's what Trump actually said in Saturday's post. Emphasized that the far away leading Republicans candidate, a former president of the United States of America, will be arrested on Tuesday next week. Protests take our nation back. His rhetoric. They post his rhetoric. So during his speeches, episode January 6th, you'll never ask how the country back with weakness, blah, blah, blah. That's what he was referring to. McCarthy and all this stuff. Republican presidential hopefuls comment too. Yeah, DeSantis said a lot and talk about the pornography thing. And, I read that. It's not important. DeSantis showing his hand, this is about 2024. That's all it is. Like Trump is not being scapegoated. No, this is classic 101 politics 101. 2024 is gonna be interesting. They say he's gonna run again. I don't think he's gonna run again because he's been exposed. Like this dude is done. I mean, it's nothing to say here, but we're gonna get into the most important when Biden vetoes everything and wherever in the numbers. So we're gonna get this out the way. I'm gonna read a little bit, start talking, and then get my minutes in and just how it is. Let's see right quick. Okay. Okay. Biden's issued first veto on retirement investment resolution. That's what the CNN is going to do. There's other news sources that have different perspectives on it. Manages funds, climate change, and other environmental, social governance and factors when picking investments. Yeah, investment rule, he said. Republican lawmakers led to push to pass the resolution through Congress, arguing the rule is woke, means nigga policy. That's what they saying. Republicans saying it out loud. They ain't gonna tell you. Say, I don't even like the word woke. That's the racist so-called white man. Them and descendants of Esau. We ain't gonna get into that. They like to use that term. Like we're not buying that. We're not falling for that. I'm not falling for it. So we already know what it is. He's on that stick. And that's why people don't mess with him. That pushes the liberal agenda on Americans will hurt the retirees' bottom lines. And what the Democrats say, it's not about the ideology with the help investors. Resolution which would richen in the Departments of Labor rule, passed both chambers of Congress with Democratic sins. Joe Manchin of West Virginia and John Tester of Montana voting with the Republicans in the Senate. I just signed the veto legislation passed by Congress would put a risk. Retirement investment savings individuals across the country, they couldn't take into consideration investments that wouldn't be impacted by climate, impacted by overpaying executives. That's why I decided to veto it. It makes sense to veto it, and Biden said in a video posted to social media Monday afternoon. Biden is seen signing the veto in the video, but taking in the Oval Office early Monday. But the veto makes a good on Biden's frequent promise to veto legislation passed on GOP controlled House disagrees with even before Republicans took control of that chamber. But Biden often mentioned in his ability to nix their priority. And then good news, I'll have a veto pen. So there you go. With Chicago in just days before November's midterm elections, opponents of the rule could try to override Biden's veto. But at the point, it appears unlikely they could get 2/3 of the majority need to each chamber to do so. Biden's first presidential veto reflects of the reality of changed political order in Washington. With the Republicans now in control of the House, after they won back the chamber from the Democrats in 2022 midterm election. I remember that. That was last year. We remember. They still don't have full power. They can lose at any time. Midterm elections. But presidential vetoes has become less common. See, it's less common, they say. They say it's become less common. Regular votes, Donald Trump is 10, Obama 12, and all this other stuff. Harris Truman was big on that. It's less common, right? Let's go. Yeah, they showing you the other numbers, but we'll show you the real numbers. Voting legislation more than a year ago. He said voting legislation more than a year into presidency has become more common. So veto has become less common in the recent. We already know it don't really matter. So Biden, when voting regular veto days in office, Biden has 789. So he's in the top three. Bill Clinton 868. And the number one is George Bush, 2006. Barack Obama is probably top 10 because he's 344, and 346 is Nixon. He's in the top five. So again, Donald Trump's in the top five as well because he's above Nixon. So these are extraordinary differences. I told you. The ones that didn't, it was Gerald Ford and Harry S. Truman. Everybody else is less. You know what I'm saying? and the one with the less is Lyndon B. Johnson. So I just want to show y'all this right here. Voting legislation more than a year in presidency has become more common. It has become more common. That's right. And other statistical graph, presidential veto has become less common since President Clinton led office of U.S. presidents had issued no more than 12 vetoes each. Former President Gerald Ford vetoed 66 bills in less than 3 years in office. See, he had less. That's pocket vetoes, regular vetoes. That's what they're showing you. All right. But if you want to talk about veto legislation, see, veto legislation is more common. See, that's the thing. And they talk about Chuck Schumer and all this other shit. But yeah, that ain't much. This is all ramped up to 2024. So we know the details. So basically, what I'm saying is this is going to continue the next couple of years. You're going to see a big picture why 2024 is going to be a very magnificent year. And whoever's going to be president, DeSantis had a lot to say about Trump. He don't really like Trump as much as y'all think, but it's really mostly common to see that people understand that this stuff is going to go on all the time, right? And I understand that a lot of people just don't want to get into it and just be official with it. So again, this is pretty much the one and the same, I don't understand why people just get caught up on that, you know? But I digress. But it just goes to show you where people stand at, you know? And you just got to be mindful of that. You just got to be mindful of that. And that's how I look at it in so many instances. But in the political landscape, you just got to look at why people are going to do what they're going to do, because later I just have some thoughts about it politically. You just look at the big picture and things like that. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. And I that's all I got to say. But but the political talk is here, man. Like we just gonna be fortunate what we have in the state. So again, like this is the interesting year. So Trump say he's gonna be arrested. It's gonna be unlikely, but it's like pretty much, it's a done deal. So with that, sign off with another one. Yeah, political part two. We just talked about, Biden vetoed this and legislation with the retirees is very interesting. And Trump's latest, basically, his tweet, try to ramp up the 2024, trying to run again. Desperation. Desperation. That's all it is. So with that, Yah bless the children, Yah Israel, in the name of the Most High Yah. Until next time with these type of subjects, I'm signing off, and I am out. Until next time, and I'm out.